right, we're going to try this again. I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube lately, but it's showing that I am still offline. So a couple of people said they heard me. Oh, there we go. It finally says it's live. Okay. So, as usual, YouTube is experiencing a little technical difficulty, so I apologize for that. But my name, of course, is Chris. This is my channel, We Love Comics. And as most of you probably know already, Stan Lee has passed away today at the age of 95. They didn't really say much. I tried to read a couple of articles, but I'm assuming, obviously, of old age. But he had complications the past couple of years, and they said he was developing pneumonia. And that is one of the #1 killers of people of that age, where, especially if you're bedridden, your lungs start getting filled with fluid, and you don't take as many deep breaths, and that can cause pneumonia. So the first thing I want to say is condolences. I'll tell you this much, as far as Stan Lee is concerned, I mean, I think all of us combined would wish we had the life that he had. So the good thing I want to say is, at least he definitely led a life that many of us would dream to have. So he lived definitely a full life. So I'm happy about that. So it wasn't anything majorly tragic, or he didn't die, you know, in his 40s. So we could all be so lucky to live to be 95 and basically be one of the more loved people in the comic book community, if not in a lot of different communities. So my condolences to the family and to everybody out there who followed Stan Lee's work, even back in the days of his Golden Age comics before he became the icon that we know of today. Now, one of the things I want to talk about, and I don't know if any other people will address this, is I was talking about, I think probably about a year ago, I made a video about signatures, especially Stan Lee's autograph. I'm not sure which video it was. If anybody finds it, please post the link for me. I appreciate it. But I was basically saying, as soon as he passes away, watch what'll happen. And what I predicted came true. If you go on eBay, there are literally dozens upon dozens of signed Stan Lee merchandise that people are trying to sell. And I have to say, I hope my listeners are not a part of that group that is doing that. To me, I just find it very sad that somebody would want to profit off of somebody's demise. And one of the biggest ones I saw is a bigger company that's on eBay all the time. It's mycomicshop.com. They were listing dozens upon dozens of Stan Lee merchandise today. And I just think it's I don't know, there's just something about that just does not seem right. I mean, obviously they have the right to do it, so it's not like they're doing anything illegal or immoral or anything. I think it really comes down to your own personal opinion, so you may disagree, but I just feel like it's almost like vultures circling, waiting for the carcass to pass on, ready to make a profit off of somebody's misfortune. One thing I can tell you right now, you will not see one of my books on eBay or anywhere for sale. I think I only have maybe 3 or 4 books that were signed by Stan Lee. None of them I ever got personally, because I just was not ready to pay those kind of prices and wait that long a line. But I am not going to be getting rid of them, and I hope you hold on to yours as well. But you're going to watch what's going to happen. And this is going to be a true test of the market. The market now is going to be oversaturated with Stan Lee signed books. Watch how many of them not only do not sell, but ultimately end up selling for less than what they hoped for. So, yeah, Pages, Films, and Plastics. Now, I'm singling them out only because I saw more of theirs than anybody else's. I mean, obviously, they put their little insignia after every listing, so it's easier to see theirs. So there could be many other people that are doing the exact same thing, but they're the ones that caught my eye. But almost every single listing they put up in the past hour has been nothing but signed Stan Lee merchandise. And to me, that's just profiting off of a tragedy, and just, I can't say it's dishonorable, I can't say it's wrong, because they have every right to do it. I just think it's in poor taste. And me personally, I would not be buying any of the Stan Lee books today. So is now the time to buy? No. Today, it's your own personal preference. I mean, everybody's going to think differently, and just because I have an opinion doesn't mean yours has to agree. So keep that in mind. I'm not one of those people that will bash you if you think a different way because you have a right to an opinion. It's just how you express it. It's okay to disagree with people, but it's nobody's right to tell anybody else that their opinion is wrong. It may be different or you may not agree with it, but everybody has the right to have it. So as far as buying stuff today, I mean, my thing is, if you didn't want it yesterday, why would you want it today? Is it the fact that he died? And if the fact that he dies is what matters, is it your belief that you think you're going to profit off of it? So my question wouldn't be, is today the best day to buy? You should ask yourself, what is motivating you to choose today to be the day to want to pick up his signature? And what is your intent of that purchase? Now, if you're doing it solely for profit, well, today would probably be the worst day because you're going to have plenty of people that are going to be thinking the same thing. Oh, he passed away. I'm going to buy as many books as I can. You're going to see in the next couple of days, people are going to flood the market. It's going to create a higher supply. The demand isn't going to be as high as people are going to think. There's going to be more people selling than people will be buying, and the prices will eventually go down. Now, what I noticed is a lot of people aren't starting out with like 99-cent bids. They're starting out at a buy-it-now price. So I think their logic is, I'm going to try and see how much money I could squeeze out of people, and if nobody bites, I'll try and lower it a little bit later. So in my opinion, if you're looking at it from that sense, today would be a ridiculous day to be buying. So to me, there are so many people out there that claim that they're comic book lovers, and they claim, that if other people do things in certain ways that they're wrong. Now, these people, they may be comic book lovers. Who knows? But to me, I just find, in my own personal opinion, to be selling your comics when somebody died and to try and profit from that, if anything, is just in poor taste. Now, again, I'm not going to say anybody's doing bad. Like I said, the only reason I even mention the My Comic Shop store is because when they make a listing, they put a little red box by it that says My Comic Shop, so you know it's from them. So it's just very easy to notice. And I saw listing after listing of Stan Lee signed books just posted today from them. Now, I'm not going to call them out and say they're a bad company. I'm not saying not to buy them. I'm not saying that they did anything wrong. I just think, in my opinion, it's bad taste. So, I mean, as far as Stan Lee's concerned, I mean, the fact that he lived until the age of 95 is amazing. I mean, with the average lifespan these days, especially of men of about 74 years old, he definitely lived above and beyond what the average lifespan is. And considering the life he had, I would say he lived a very happy life. Now, what you're going to see now is the reality of how people are. They are already talking about people in his family and people that worked with him. They're all going to be fighting over his estate. And, my mother says stuff like this all the time. She's like, I don't know if she's kidding around or trying to be caring. She's like, I want to make sure you and your sister are taken care of when it's my time to pass. And I'm like, you know what? I could give two you-know-whats about what you would give me. I would rather have you than anything that would be left behind. So please, I say to my mother all the time, don't even kid around that stuff. Don't even discuss that stuff. Because to me, family is what's not most important, not what you leave me. Because I provide for myself. I don't want handouts. And I understand that obviously a parent is going to want to leave things to their loved ones. But people should not be fighting over it. I mean, again, it's like vultures surrounding a carcass, and they're all trying to see what amount of meat they can rip off before it's all gone. So you're going to start seeing the reality of some people that were close to Stan Lee in the next couple of days. I'm sure there's going to be lawsuits. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of court cases. There's going to be a lot of fighting back and forth about who gets to grab what. And I just think that is just not the best way to live your life. You should not want to thrive or profit off of somebody's demise. Now, that doesn't mean if you have a Stan Lee book, you don't have the right to sell it. My opinion is maybe wait at least a week. At least wait a day for the carcass to cool down before you're trying to sell your books. Because a lot of these sellers, and I said it when I made that video a long time ago, I said the moment he dies, you're going to see hundreds, if not thousands of books all of a sudden on the market. If these people think all of a sudden there's going to be tens of thousands of people looking to buy those books at twice the price of what they were the day before, they're going to be really in a sad awakening. And that's the part that really is sad, that the prices that people are asking for some of these books is just almost borderline insulting. But here's the thing. It does not matter what a person sells something for. It's what a person is willing to buy and pay for something that matters. That really is the true test of a market. You know, you can't sell $1 million automobile if nobody is willing to pay for it. Doesn't matter how much they spent on it. It's what people are willing to pay. So now you're going to see the thing that I've tried to tell people for a long time, that they are going to flood the market. They are going to have them overly priced. Now, of course, a few people are going to buy, because there's always people that use greed as their incentive to do something. I'm not looking for any Stan Lee signatures. But make no mistake, if I look online and I see a comic that I wanted that just happened to be signed by Stan Lee and it's a reasonable price, I would pick it up. But it's not for the Stan Lee signature. Just like I said, I already have a couple, and I don't really go that crazy over Stan Lee's signature. Like, I've never found a book that said, I have to get this book only if it's signed by him. I mean, because to be perfectly honest, probably, I would say a good 70% of the books that he signed, he had nothing to do with. I always found that interesting. I've even seen people have him sign DC and Image books, where he didn't even work for them. So, I don't know. I just find it's a sad situation. It just makes it worse that you see so many people wanting to profit off of somebody else's misfortune. And I just think, and I hope my subscribers at least will see, that that's not the best way to live the best life, is by waiting for somebody else to have a tragedy that you can potentially profit off of. Because, I don't know, it's just, I firmly believe in karma. And, you know, that could be different for you. But I just feel that anybody selling today, I mean, they're not evil, don't get me wrong, they're not criminals, they're not doing anything ethically wrong, I can't speak. I just think it's just not the best time for this. I mean, Stan Lee did some amazing work back in the 70s, and he's basically been the Colonel Sanders of the Marvel Universe since basically the mid-'80s when they filed for bankruptcy. He was basically a spokesperson, and he was an incredible one. He was very friendly. He did great little comedic scenes in a lot of the Marvel movies, and there'll never be another new signature again. So in that aspect, it is sad, but like I was warning people, there is going to be a flooded market of his signatures. His signature is not rare at all. As a matter of fact, I'm sure the second most signed books would probably be 10 times less than what Stan Lee has done as far as signatures are concerned. And today, I'm sure there's many comic book stores, many comic book places, many comic book lovers that are sorting through their comic books now looking for a Stan Lee signature that they can profit off of. So, me personally, and again, this is my personal decision, I will not be selling any of his books today, nor will I be looking to purchase any of those books today. I would ask people to think about the implications of things more than just how much money can I make for something. Because it shouldn't always be about money. Now, obviously, there's nothing wrong with it. I make no, I don't hide the fact that I buy books that are valuable. And maybe one day, like I said, maybe when I'm about 55, somewhere around there, when I'm getting to the point where, I want to live the rest of my life happy, maybe I might sell my books then. But that's because I eventually want to have me and my wife maybe move down to Florida or somewhere nice and warm. And if those comic books can help us get to that point and live a happier life at the remaining years that we have left, if we could ever live so long as Stan Lee, I'll do that in a heartbeat. But make no mistake, my comics, I love them. Even the ones that are slabbed, I take them out. There are times I'll just take the boxes down, open them up, look at all the books that I have, enjoying the covers, enjoying the fact that I own them.
the fact that I did my video earlier today about the Golden Age book that I won, and not many people have seen it, so I hope you'll check your notifications, because it looks like my last 2 videos have dramatically decreased in the amount of views. So I make videos at least 3 or 4 times a week. So if you don't see a video in 2 or 3 days, check my channel, because obviously YouTube is doing something. I think it's funny that about a week ago, one of my videos, I was talking about that U.S. code for U.S. corporations, and I showed that link that actually proves the very thing that I was stating. And ever since then, all of a sudden, my views have gone down tremendously. Like going from like 1,000 views to like 300 or 400. Coincidence? Maybe. Who knows? But if you haven't gotten a notification, let me know. So if anybody has any questions as far as this, let me know. But I mean, honestly, in my opinion, today's probably not the best day to be buying a book with Stan Lee's signature anyway, because there are going to be a lot of greedy people out there trying to sell a book for 2 or 3 times the amount of what it's worth, based on the fact that somebody who didn't research and doesn't know about prices of books may think, oh, Stan Lee died today? His signature is probably going to be worth millions, not knowing that there are probably literally millions of his signature, signed books all over the market. So be very careful. And this is why I always tell people, make sure you do your research. If you don't know what the current price and the current value of a book is, well, it's your fault if you overspend. It doesn't matter if somebody lied or didn't know, misled you. If it's your job to make sure you know what you're purchasing. So if yesterday a Stan Lee book was worth $500, and then all of a sudden somebody tries to sell it for $1,000 because they want to take advantage of this situation, a fool and their money are soon parted if you decide to buy it without researching. If you think buying a book today is going to be double in price because of the passing of a person that has not had anything to do with comics since the 70s, as nice as he was, we got to talk the reality of the business part, you're going to be very disappointed. All you have to do now is go on eBay and see all of the things that people have done. And Russell says, Chris, you need to make a tribute video so us true believers can grieve. Well, this is the thing I'd say, Russell. If you think that that's something you need to do, I would suggest you make a video. I tend to be, because, I mean, honestly, I'm going to be straightforward. I liked Stan Lee, but he wasn't really relevant since the 70s. He had no part of what comics were. So, I mean, to me, to make a tribute about the person would be disingenuous and not sincere. Now, I never hated Stan Lee. And definitely, if any of us could live a quarter of his life, we'd be incredibly lucky. But like I've said, with people, the way he overcharged for signatures, the fact that you weren't allowed to talk to him, you had to pay up to $100 for a picture, I had a personal problem with that. So for me to make a tribute video, I would not be the best one to do it. So I would suggest other people, if they want to do a tribute video, to do that. I tend to be more the reality part of things, not the fantasy world when it comes to a person. I mean, Stan Lee was a good guy. He was definitely funny. He definitely helped the comic book industry, absolutely. But there were also the negative aspects that I didn't like. Because remember, he when the Marvel went bankrupt in the 80s, he separated himself from it. And basically they kept him around because, like I said earlier, he was like the Colonel Sanders of Marvel. They used him and took advantage of the fact that people loved him so much. But when was the last time he wrote, edited, or had anything to do with a comic book? So, I mean, his contributions, I mean, as far as like creations of characters, I mean, we also have to be careful about that. I mean, there was a reason why Ditko and Stan Lee didn't talk for decades. It's up in the air who really created these things. Now, I'm not going to say, even if you're a part creator, that's still amazing. And I give a lot of credit for the fact that he almost single-handedly is the reason why comics to this day are still popular. So yes, I have nothing really bad to say about Stan Lee, but I'm talking about what I'm seeing from the comic book people, the people that are going to profit off of this tragedy. And honestly, I can't really call it a tragedy because, like I said, he lived to be 95. And that's a great age. he lived a fairly happy life. Now, of course, near the end, there were people that were taking advantage of him and all these other things that were going on. But I would say overall, I think most of us would trade our lives for his life any day. So he didn't die from being murdered. He didn't die at the age of 13. He lived until 95, where, from what they say, he passed on peacefully. So if any of us are going to go, that's one of the best ways to go. And he did live a very happy life. And he's going to be, a lot of people in his family are going to be well taken care of. And I hope they care more about their loss than what they can gain. But as you can see, they're already talking about the fact that they're going to start lawsuits and trying to fight over, his possessions. And, to me, there's always a time and a place. Don't be discussing it the day the person passed away, especially if you're a family member. I mean, the loss should be what's most important. But again, I'm just stating my opinions. Your opinions are going to be different. Just because my opinion or your opinion is different doesn't make it wrong. So I hope you will at least respect the fact of my decision to say what I say. I just feel it's disappointing that so many people now are trying to profit off of it. And today, financially, would be one of the worst days to buy a book. And like I said, if you didn't want to buy his book yesterday, any book that he signed, what would be the incentive other than the fact that he passed away that you would get it today? And then is it for the love of the comic, or is it the fact that you want a book from somebody that will never sign another book again? So it's all about looking a little bit deeper than just the outer layers of something. So I don't want to make this into a bigger thing. I think, like I said, Stan Lee lived a great life. Nobody's life is perfect. So yes, there's going to be ups and downs, and there's going to be good and bad. That's part of any life. But I would say overall, many of us would dream to have a life that he's had. And to live at the ripe old age of 95 is an incredible feat. And I wish his family the best. I hope he moves on to a bigger and better place. And who knows, if there's such thing as reincarnation, maybe he'll come back again and work for the comics and, create more characters. So basically it depends on your beliefs in that aspect as well. So who knows? But in my opinion, don't buy any books from people especially people that are trying to oversell. Make sure you know what prices are before you just buy something. Don't do what I've told people to stay away from, and that's using your emotion. This is going to get people to emotionally get themselves involved. It's like, oh, I need to buy or I need to sell because the person passed away. And then you're going to charge too much of a high price and wonder why it didn't sell. And you're going to have the other people that are going to buy at that higher price and wonder why the price goes down in another year. Be very careful. Don't use emotion to create your business sense. Now, if you want it for nostalgic reasons, that's different. Something for nostalgia could be priceless. But if you're buying it for profit, you have to really think, is today the smartest day to be spending your money? And we're going to leave it at that. So, I'm sure I'll have people not liking my opinion instead of just appreciating the right to have one. And that's okay. We're going to get that here. It's an emotional time. It's going to be happy news for some that are selling and trying to make a profit. It'll be bad news for others. So everybody grieves differently, and if you feel that you could make a video that can contribute your thoughts, and especially if you could do it better than what I or anybody else can do, instead of asking other people to do it, put it out there yourself. Make your own voice be heard. Share your opinions and your stories. Don't always rely on other people to do that for you. Maybe today's the first day to make a video for the first time. Maybe this is a good reason to do so. Share your love. Make a tribute video. There is no wrong way to do it. It's just your way. Some are going to love it. Some are going to hate it. Some are just never going to notice it. But you do it for yourself, and it's always right. So with that being said, I'm going to pick Jake Conrad as today's surprise subscriber shout-out. I want to thank everybody that took the time to watch this video. I think at one point we had almost like 170 to 180 viewers. So I hope you will not be selling any Stan Lee books today. And if you do, you're not a horrible person. You're not an evil person. You're not wrong. It's just probably not the best day to do it, in my opinion. But yours can differ. So check out my video I did yesterday and today. They're not getting a lot of views for some reason. People may not be getting notifications. So I hope you will check them out and leave your comments, because it actually took me literally an hour to respond to the 3 or 4 videos from the past couple of days that I couldn't get to because of my birthday and working and things. So I always respond to everything. So if you're going to take the time to be that kind, I'm going to do my best to respond to everybody for as long as I can. So thank you for everybody. My condolences again to the family of Stan Lee. He led a great life, and maybe we'll strive to have the rest of our lives be a quarter of what he has. Strive for the best, and remember, don't ever take for granted what you got, because you never know when it's going to be gone, no matter what age you are. Thanks for listening. Have a great night, and I'll see you next time.